Hey, it's Mark. I'm going to run down through some stocks here and we're going to look at some uranium stocks. I went through my stock fetcher scan and just sorted all the uranium stocks by RSI. And there's some pretty good bull flag looking charts here. So one of the first ones I found was this one. And it looks like a pink sheet or OTC, but the flag is really interesting. Like it's definitely like clearly a bull flag based on volume, because not a lot of sell volume up at the top. So it actually has had some range in the past. Like it went from about 40 cents to about $1 back 2001, but 2002 didn't really have any range. Like just the fact that it's already up from about 45 cents, 40 cents to 60 is pretty good. So the important thing I always do or try to do is always look back, long term and find some key levels. So these are resistance levels here. If you can see that line pretty well, that's been a major area for support and resistance in the past couple of years. If we go back farther, it looks like there's not much to read back farther because it was down so much back in 2020. It's like 10 cents a share. But these levels here are key, so it's about 70 cents. 70 cents on that one, and this one looks like it's 71 cents. So about 73 cents or so is a big level. So that's an area to watch when it finally hits 70. But it looks like it's going to keep going here just based on the volume. Like I'm looking at the volume down here, there's not a lot of selling up at the top, so and it just broke the bull flag. So I'm looking for a breakout on this one. Looks pretty good over 67. If it hits 67, 68. So let's say it's 68. It looks like a good setup for a breakout long trade. The next one, well, we can go through some of the ones I've always had, like UAC. This one looks like a bull flag too. It's pretty clear bull flag there, and it broke out today. So this one looks good on green tomorrow if it holds green. And the URG, it's another good bull flag. These have been trading pretty similarly, so that's a bull flag too. So that one looks good over 160, 159. Another uranium stock is the NXE. Really similar chart. This one has even better volume. The buy volume on the up move there was pretty significant, and there hasn't been a lot of sell volume. So that's another bull flag break. So that one looks good on either green or over 626. But if these stocks do move, it's a good trade just on a green move over yesterday's or over Friday's close. Like a green on the day is good. CCJ is another one. It's near a major multi-year breakout levels. I guess these have kind of been, I totally missed this one. It's been going for a while. But it's kind of like these other uranium stocks. They're just a lot of relative strength. So that's a bull flag too for sure. Like the volume there's a lot of buying volume, not so much selling volume at the top of this move here. So that's a bull flag too, similar to the other ones. This UROY, it's got a similar chart. It's a bull flag. Looks like that there was a lot of selling on this day here. There's more selling than buying, so I'm kind of hesitant on this one as a first option. But it's got the bull flag going, so the fact that it was in sympathy with the other ones is pretty good. But it's not my favorite because of there was a lot of selling volume near the top of that move up there. But yeah, it's actually got a range here. It's got a lot of resistance there where it topped out, because it topped right at that resistance level from February and November and December. And it's funny, the high was $3 in February, and it topped at 302. But it looks like it really wants to come back and test. So if it gets over like 302, 304, 303, let's see what the other levels are. I'd say probably 310 to be sure. Then it's probably it's a good long too, just in the fact that it's uranium. DNN, I was looking at this one in my scans and I thought it was like a gold or silver, gold and silver, but it makes sense why it kept popping up, because it's uranium too. I saw that one and I was like, why is DNN in the scans here? Because I thought it was a gold stock, and maybe they do mine gold too, but it's definitely uranium, a uranium miner. So this one's got, it just broke over that major level there. That's the big level right there. That's why it's always good to zoom out and look back like a couple of years at least, see where these price points are. Because as I was saying before in these other videos, the technicals in a way just kind of track what's going on with the fundamentals sometimes, especially in like larger cap stocks, like the institutions and hedge funds and people with the most the volume, or even the trading algorithms. They all have certain price points set up that they're going to buy. So based on fundamentals and whatever analysis the firms use, so a lot of them use fundamentals. So the technicals are kind of just watching what the fundamental investors are doing, because you're watching it's like price discovery. So it's just sort of tracking what the fundamentals are. So that's the question. So the question is technicals fundamentals? Like, in a way it is, because it's assessing what the fundamental investors are doing a lot of times, is what the best way to put it. So that's a really good one too. I like DNN. A lot of buy volume here. A lot of buy volume that day. And there's some consolidation in the sell volume, but it wasn't quite as much. So this one's really good because it's above this former resistance. So it's another one of those sweet trading range breakouts. So that's the floor right there, support of the trading range. So this is one of my favorites, just because I've seen the relative strength on it's been really good. Like a lot of these days here where it was green, the market was red, and it's just the fact that it can put up a lot of green days in a row is nice. That's what I like to see in a swing trade. So just kind of wanted to compare it to these other ones, see if it was green the same days. Pretty much from the 8th to the from the 8th to the 18th, it was green. It was green every trading day. Yeah, the other ones are this pretty similar. It's kind of how to tell uranium went, how the uranium went. So those are the main uranium stocks that I've got on my watch list. Probably my favorite is actually this one. Just because it really looks like it's gonna test against that 70. But the DNN's another good one. And I know DNN from the past. That's why I thought it was a gold stock. But I know it as a technical play. Like in the past, it's had a lot of good runs. It's a really good runner when it goes. Yeah, I see back in 2020, 2021, it went from like 30 cents to, well, actually it went down as far as 20 cents, 21 cents in 2020, and it went all the way to $2, basically $2 in 2021. So it can put up some big runs. Like it is a stock that's in play when the sector is in play. So yeah, I'd say actually this one's probably my favorite. I mean, technically, even now that I look at that again, it's a really good setup. So that's my top uranium watch for tomorrow, DNN. The UUUU, the quad U's was a good one too, because it's got the same kind of trading range that it broke out of the trading range here, and then it retested and tested trend support here and held. So if this goes green on a day, it's good too. It's a good trade. And you look at this, look at the volume. See the buy volume here is really high, like really spiked, unusual volume, and then the sell volume has been pretty indicative of a flag, because it's less than the buy volume on these days, and it's decreasing. It decreased every day. Well, even here it decreased. So the flag started on this day, and then the volume was less. The volume was less, and then finally it popped again. So it's kind of a perfect bull flag, really. It's like a sort of the epitome of a bull flag, with the way the consolidation volume worked on the way down. So this is I tweeted this one out on Friday when it held these levels. It was pretty big signal there. So that's one of my top watches too, on long bias, of course. And to shorts, so we're going to jump into shorts here. I forgot to talk about the Hawaiian Holdings, the HA. This one I looked at as a short setup on Thursday, and stock really tanked the next day. Like it was down 6% on Friday. And I even saw some social media that was pretty negative on it. I don't know how much of a factor that is, but sometimes that can be a factor with social media these days. This is Hawaiian Airlines. It's the Hawaiian Airlines company, HA. This is a good short setup too, because it's taken out multi-year support there. And that one really caught my eye as a short too, and these These other ones did really well too on Friday. Like the XHB's really got to hold tomorrow if it's gonna hold any momentum that it still has. I'm pretty bearish over the next month or two on XHB. So gold's not doing anything, but silver is interesting. And then I'll look at some another index in a minute. But silver, it's kind of had some more range than gold. So that's sort of a rough range right there. So there's it's like in a trading range now. So that's the trading range. And this is sort of the upper bound there, this is the upper part of the trading range, but it's gotten tighter here. So these are the levels I'm looking at. And it looks like it's gonna go up to resistance again, because it held this support like multiple days. But it's just in a range. It's not really much of a chart of the past few years. It's just kind of sideways, but the fact that uranium's going and some of these metals are interesting as longs now. So I very well may look at some silver stocks if we get any momentum this week, because there's a chance it could break out of this trading range. It very well could if we get some momentum. Kind of makes me wonder about copper, but just thinking about metals here. But I don't think there's a trade in copper. Like, I haven't really looked at it, but there's enough to focus on with uranium now, these uranium stocks. I really have too many setups. Like, I try to rank them by, like top 5 for long and short bias. So I've got like the top two uranium setups now. But I mean, NXT is a good one too. I mean, because NXT, the buy volume is really strong, and there wasn't any sell volume at all, hardly, on these consolidations. So that's a good one too. I mean, this one might have options, so it might even be a better one than the OTC or the pink sheet one. So the DNN and this one, I might probably make my top 2. So I'm probably not going to trade more than 2. But I may take a really small position in the FCUF. But I didn't run any more scans. I may do that later tonight or in the morning. I'm gonna try to get some screen time tomorrow. So I'm gonna trade the open, and I'll probably be active on Twitter tomorrow during market hours. I'll probably tweet out any trades I take or any setups I see set up, any setups. But these banks are at serious levels. We got a trading range. Like, the KRE is really threatening to break through with support there. But you could say it's oversold too short term, so it's going to probably try to bounce. So I think there's probably going to be some consolidation on tomorrow, on Monday. It's been a lot of sell days last week. I'm not expecting like a crash, but I'd say there's a pretty good probability of like a sideways day next couple days, and then the next probability is a total another 2% drop in the indices. But I'll be ready for both because I got puts on, and I've got some setups I might take. Like the GOBS, I mean, it's probably going to consolidate, but very well it could have another run day. But it looks like it might consolidate, but it's still a long bias for now. So that's what I just wanted to look at that. I just wanted to look at some of these uranium stocks and share those, and the Hawaiian Holdings, Hawaiian Airlines, because I forgot about that one in the other watch list video I did. So I'll just call it a wrap there and catch you in the market.